Sedans are still big sellers in the luxury segment, but if you're eyeing a GLC over a C-Class, you're after more practicality. And if it's a GLC AMG on your radar, you're clearly chasing performance as well. And in case you're looking to schedule a test drive and you want to ferry your family, especially one with teenagers in it, then you would want to know what the boot space is like. The boot space is really good. As you can see, there's also a 40-20-40 split for the seats. That's good too. But you see, you'd also want to know what the headroom is like, because the GLC AMG sold in India is only available at the moment as a coupe.
The headroom? Pretty decent.
That's of course if your teenagers haven't grown unnaturally like the cryptocurrency you wish you had invested in. But if you are single, or if you have tiny kids, or if you've made a ton of money, in that case, you will be more interested in the performance of the GLC AMG. Like the C43 AMG, there is a 4-cylinder engine under the hood, and it has the same tricks too. F1 derived technology, electric exhaust gas turbo, belt-driven starter generator, et al. Yes, 4-cylinder, so unlike your friends who may have the GLC 43, the older one, you'll not be able to flex your arm on the steering wheel and say, I've got a V6 under the hood. But you can smirk and say, I've got over 420 horses. That's more power than the older GLC 43. That's a lot more power than even the BMW X4 M40i.
More than a C43 even.
Yeah, that even. But more importantly, unlike the older V6, this is a one-man, one-engine philosophy, which in simple terms means that there is the autograph of the AMG engineer who lovingly assembled this engine in a Falterbach. The GLC 43 Coupe looks like it has been hitting the gym and not skipping leg day, because the lower half of the car really looks so much better than the outgoing car. The bulbousness is all gone, it looks a lot sharper. Those 21-inch wheels, they look flashy. That grille looks so good, especially with that vertical slat AMG arrangement. And then at the rear, you have the quad exhaust pipes, which again sound and look great. There is a bit of that EQ inspiration with that black line connecting the taillights. That could have been done differently, but overall, the silhouette of this car screams performance. It looks so much better than the outgoing car. Even that little spoiler on the tail looks amazing. All of it comes together and the new GLC screams move over without having to shout.
It's the automotive equivalent of wearing a sharp suit with a pair of sneakers. Classy, yet ready to run.
Funny, he's the one talking about sneakers. Anyway, I think enough of the design. Let's now talk about the way it drives. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Clearly, I'm wearing the wrong shoes too. Slip into the driver's seat and you're greeted by a cabin that's part spaceship, part luxury lounge. The 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster instantly sets this car apart from its predecessor. The MBUX infotainment system is as intuitive as your smartphone or tablet, assuming you don't still use a Nokia 3310, though I do like that phone. And the ambient lighting, it's like driving in a nightclub, minus the sticky floors and the dodgy bouncers. Oh, but this is one car that you want to flaunt at the nightclubs, especially in this matte black shade. Anyway, let's get down to driving it. Push the starter and this 4-cylinder engine comes to life with a roar. Okay, fine, not a roar, a growl, an angry growl.
Like a Rottweiler with a sore paw.
Yeah, that. But with over 420 PS, 500 Newton meters of torque, it can go from standstill to 100. In under 5 seconds. How quick can your dog run? When you hit the winding roads, you realize that this car is not only about straight line speed. With that AMG tuned suspension, it just hugs these curves, it just hugs the road. There's plenty of grip coming from it.
Like a gecko on a glass window.
But yeah, you get the drift. Especially with that 4MATIC all-wheel drive and over 2/3 of the power going to the rear wheels. It's basically running across corners, attacking corners like a wildcat on Red Bull. Well, I would have said Petronas, but that's not a drink. Formula One geeks, let this slide. Tech geeks, pay attention. This car is packed with gadgets. There's the adaptive cruise control that works smoothly even in our conditions. There's also the adaptive lighting that works really well and looks nice even to the oncoming traffic without dazzling them. There's also a lane keep assist and works quite well on B roads, highways, etc. More attentive than my mother-in-law. And then there is the full color heads-up display, which makes you feel like a fighter jet pilot.
Like Maverick from Top Gun.
Nah, that's a bit much. The GLC 43 is also more practical than a typical low-slung sports car. Not too many butt-clenching moments in here. And those 21-inch wheels did take a fair bit of pothole beating during our drive, but you gotta be careful with those. These come with staggered tire sizes as well, 235 in the front and 295 at the rear. That 4MATIC we spoke of, that all-wheel drive system can do a little bit of off-roading too. In fact, there is also an off-road mode. So it will tackle a lot more than your potholes and speed humps outside your office.
Quite obviously. It's got G in the name.
Now that is a bit much too, but again, you get the drift. Now what about the comfort, you may ask? Well, it's still a Mercedes-Benz seat, so while these sports seats are really good while you're driving around winding roads, even when you make a pit stop to the racetrack, etc., they're still Mercedes-Benz seats, so they are pretty comfortable. And at the back, it's not too bad either. Despite the Coupé roofline, we already showed you the headroom is quite good, and the space is overall quite nice too, unless of course you're going to try and cram in 3 football players or NBA players back there.
But I play Candy Crush.
Well, people looking in their screen sitting in the back seat, that's going to give them motion sickness, so don't blame the car for it. The boot space enough to fit your golf clubs, 2 suitcases, shopping bags and even some DIY IKEA furniture if you're into that sort of a thing. So what's the verdict on the 2024 Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 Coupé? It's a car that doesn't feel like a compromise. You get the practicality of an SUV, the looks of a coupe, and the performance of a sports car. So it's a bit like having your cake, eating it, enjoying it, and at the end of it also finding out that it's low calorie. It's basically like an all-rounder, and that is what made the previous GLC 43 one of the best-selling AMGs globally. And looks like the new one is going to be a bestseller as well.
Just like Chetan Bhagat.
What? Okay, that's it. Get out. So whether you're ferrying such pesky teenagers, impressing your date, or just enjoying the sheer thrill of driving, the 2024 Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 Coupé, it's a long name, is up for a challenge. Just remember to keep your smirk handy. You're going to need it.